Yes.
From what I believe, right? You know how Emu he did all that crap, the tail stab Sabo and all that.
Yes.
Do you remember how the 7 deadly sins were? Right? Like the 7 deadly sins, they're the good guys, and obviously the 7 deadly sins.
Yes.
And the 10 commandments was the bad guys.
Yes.
And 7 deadly sins. All right. You know how Luffy is the sun god, right? D, devil, and all that other stuff.
Yes.
To me, what I actually think is what all this is, Luffy and Imu. Luffy is the god. Imu is gonna be like a mythical One Piece created devil. Luffy is a One Piece created god. It's gonna be opposite, technically, like Taza. Luffy and him, they gonna fight each other, and when they get to actually fighting each other, it's gonna be the devil is technically gonna rule the world, but he's gonna give it up.
Okay, so the follow-up with Wings thing, I actually do think that Oda is definitely pulling a god and light thing with Emu and darkness and the devil thing, because I do think that he's pulling a little bit from Zoroastrianism, which, if you don't know what that is, it was one of the first monotheistic beliefs in the world, and it has stuff to do around fire and light, and it was one of the first to like represent a god versus a devil kind of concept out there. Not like other, there's religions, they do have other kind of like gods versus an evil force, but I do find that kind of interesting that one of our own religions that's about fire, and there is a darkness counterpart to it, maybe could tie into like sun god Nika and what maybe Emu is. Just a little thing out there.
Yeah, I mean,
thinking Oda again.
There are a few things I want to dive into because I need to kind of reread the story of where the wild things are, because I think there's some ties that I'm gonna probably have to dive into because there's different concepts here. But I think that there's something that if you watched Film Red, you would know that there is a concept out there where you can actually create devils or demons, stuff like that. And I remember for Top Musica, it was like the manifestation of the ill will and the sadness and the combination of like that culminated into like one entity. That was an entity of like darkness, an entity of like demonic origins that came from like a demon world of some sorts. So like the idea could be simple here, because in Elbath, I remember they actually mentioned that Big Mom, when she was going crazy, they called her a god of destruction. So I wonder if that's actually, or like a god of chaos. So I wonder if there's actually like a literal thing here where like you have the sun god, and then you have like, just like you have maybe like the forest god, the maybe there's a water god, I'm not too sure. But then you have things like that, and then you have also potential gods of chaos that are like the polar opposites. And that would be something like Nika, Emu, where Emu would be one of those entities.
Or a demon. Or a demon.
It could be a demon
too, right? Yeah.
It could be,
because that tail, or like that arrow, could be a tail, maybe.
Yeah. Like how crazy would it be? How crazy would it be if it was like something from Lovecraft? Like, what if Emu is like Azathoth or Yog-Sothoth?
Oh boy.
Like,
I mean.
And today's sponsor is none other than the Surfshark VPN.
Oh!
You see, the World Wide Web absolutely is a very dangerous place. One false step, one wrong move, and you will find out that your week, your month, your year could be completely ruined. And that's why, for my fellow weebs out there across the world, I know that we explore some very interesting locations and some very interesting places on the web.
Lord have mercy, I'm about to.
But you need protection. You need safety. And Surfshark VPN absolutely has your back with dope features like the clean web feature that clears up any malware, any viruses, any bad actors that may try and ruin your day. I am a big dude. And part of the reason why is because of them sweet, delicious cookies. Absolutely. But I hate them. I detest them online. So Surfshark VPN is my online dietitian as well. And it's my dietitian everywhere. My desktop, my laptop, my phone, wherever I am, I can have Surfshark VPN protecting me, making sure I am secure, safe, and sound. Furthermore, if you want access, let's say any region-gated content, let's say on Netflix, let's say on Hulu, and even my own channel, since I do have region-gated content.
What did he say?
And you want to gain access to this region-gated content, then you can easily do so by changing the location that you are located in with Surfshark VPN, and with the click of a button, that region-locked content has now been unlocked. So ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, go in the description box down below. You use code KOL, that is KOL, to get an exclusive offer and 3 months free. Once again, use code KOL, and now let's get back into the video.
I mean, what the first thing that I thought when I saw Imu transform was that he was a Zoan, so maybe like a void dragon or like an ender dragon. That is
so
what
D&D and Minecraft. Okay.
Yeah,
gotcha.
that's what I thought. But yeah, but it's like it could be a situation where he's literally just Satan.
To be fair, they made a comparison to him being an actual. They made a comparison to him having the same name as like someone else. So it's possible that it's a devil fruit, not really that he is like an actual demon of some sort.
Yeah. It could be a devil fruit that turns himself into the devil, like who Mari said long ago, which could be a foreshadowing.
So I remember, and here's something that's interesting too. When you think about the idea of zone ability users, you kind of see how like there's good versions of it and then there's bad versions of it. So you have like Luffy and Luffy, Rob Lucci. These people are like proper awakened zone ability users, where like they don't fuck up. But the impelled down Jalebi's guards are improper ones, where like their whole minds are taken over like by their animal, and like they have no thought process, that kind of stuff. I do wonder, let's say, just how like Nika was the sun god Nika was an actual potential deity that existed in the world of One Piece. You could have like the inverse of that, where there could be a dark god that's specific to the world of One Piece, and then that one became a fruit too, just like Nika. And then that could be Imu, where Imu before, let's say 800 years ago, 900 years ago, they were a regular person, but then they consumed that fruit, and then they improperly awakened their ability, and then that led to what they are now.
What did Blackbeard say about his devil fruit all the way back then when he fought Ace? Like he said something along the lines of it being like the strongest devil fruit. I can't remember
Logia devil fruit, I think it was.
It's not completely true because there's devil fruits that are omitted from the book, such as Nika, aka Luffy's fruit. It could be the same here with Imu being the actual strongest, having the strongest devil fruit. It could be a possibility.
I don't know if you guys know this, but darkness and evil do not have to be the same thing. They do not have to be synonyms. Like maybe the dark god could have been pure darkness, but darkness in and of itself is neutral, or can even be a force for good. But maybe it's like Imu's corrupted.
Like you remember the Hakuba character? Like we've yet to explore that storyline of the awakening of the devil fruit, then consuming the person that takes it, because that's been hinted at a bunch. So I feel like that's essentially, I think probably, what's his name? Gucci's on that path.
Gucci?
But I think
Robert Gucci.
Primarily, it's gonna be like Imu's storyline.
Just
like why? It's like, how could you improperly awaken your ability, like the impel down Jalebi's guards, compared to someone like Rob Lucci who actually did it like properly per se? Maybe the actual devil of the fruit itself is more apparent or active when they're a Zoan ability user, because they're a prior living thing. Maybe.
If Imu is a mythical zone, would he be mythical? I'm saying like if you're putting mythical as like a more like good guy term, what would Imu be classified?
No, I'm saying maybe if he is an elemental, like if he's just void, if he just represents the vacuum of space, then he could be like a special Logia where he's just a primordial. It could also be because of the purity or like the impurity of someone's heart. So for example, Rob Lucci is not a nice guy, but let's say that Imu is really extra evil and so evil that he actually corrupted his own devil fruit. And it's like, it's the inverse of Luffy, where Luffy is good, so therefore the sun god is seen as a good thing, but like light can be used as a force for evil if it is corrupted.
Yu-Gi-Oh! GX, the band of the light.
The light of destruction.
Because what would the darkness fruit have looked like in Thatch's hands instead of Blackbeard's? Like,
exactly.
It really has to be an evil.
The same thing it was in Blackbeard's.
Like I think he probably corrupted.
Like Kaido's a bad guy, but we see how we see like Momonosuke is a good guy.
He's supposed to be a guardian of one.
Right, exactly. Orochi, the same thing too. He's a bad guy. So it's like, like peep. So I think that, and I think it harkens back to what Vegapunk said, but also I think what Crocodile said too, where it's like your imagination is gonna like dictate how powerful you are, your abilities. Sure. And then I think the idea that you kind of get from Vegapunk is that like your imagination, your ideas, your creativity will kind of influence your power. So someone like Jewelry Bonnie was able to like envision herself in like a weird alternate timeline, and then she got all bulked up because that's what she kind of envisioned. Right. And then her powers kind of changed her to that. Like when she poked someone, like she poked Vegapunk's time like out of his body, and it became like gems. Wow, it was gems, because that's what she kind of envisioned powers to be. I think like even like someone like Chopper had thought of new powers for, you know, for, like how like he could transform like new ways, and that's what we see, like he turns like differently, like all these new sub forms.
Well,
so like Luffy is that way too. Same for NL. NL's a god, so his lighting's more like omniscient, more like kind of like dignified and very regal in a way. Things like that.
Like tech stuff that involves people changing their devil fruit, like Black Maria, and then there's Queen with his ability.
Yeah, they all.
Yes.
Like Black Maria has drugs that actually physically change her hybrid form.
Right.
She thought it was like cute.
Yes.
There's also a chance that because Oda's referencing space so much, maybe Oda goes even further with this, and maybe it's like. While Luffy represents regular matter, maybe Imu represents like dark matter. And dark
said this, yes.
Yeah.
I will say this though: Blackbeard in the video games has dark matter attacks. So I mean,
it's called but it's a video game thing, and like how.
Fair. Remember that too. It's like also I think it was Power Warriors 4. Kaido does all the elemental shit in that game first, and then we see later on the manga.
No ice.
No ice. Fair enough.
And Power Warrior 4, Karen also hurt Kaido, so.
Bro, come on, stop being a party pooper.
Imu could also be like in a similar situation where if he is like a Logi of some sorts, he could be a superior version to Blackbeard's Devil Fruit, because we know that there is a hierarchy between Logias. We've seen that with Akaine's Devil Fruit and Ace's Devil Fruit. It could be like the very well the same.
But but Blackbeard I think will have to have the top one, because I don't think that if Emu's a Logia, then Imu I think will be by default weaker than Blackbeard, because he has the top Logia ability.
But Blackbeard could be restricted because of his knowledge on the Encyclopedia Devil Fruit, but we know that Luffy's Devil Fruit actually wasn't listed in the encyclopedias.
Because one thing you have to kind of keep in mind is that even though Luffy is like, he's doing all this crazy rubber shit, but he also has fire-based stuff too, and he's the sun god. So like, I think that's Oda's way of saying, okay, I'm gonna give Luffy like a lot of stuff that's gonna be like restriction free, and also I'm gonna give him like sun god references too, and then Imu could be like the same way, but like he's the opposite. So Imu could, let's say, do crazy, weird alterations, even like make shit out of thin air, like what Luffy could do. But it's like the flip side of it. It's all like demonic. It's all, or like, let's say, maybe not demonic, maybe like more. Honestly, it's gonna sound dumb, but it could be more just sad and depressing. Like Luffy's always laughing. What if Imu's always sad and depressed? The real question is, Oda wants to have fun. Oda's gonna start having these niggas do dumb shit. The real question is, can Luffy start bending manga panel borders? That's the real shit. Now we're talking. All right. If Luffy starts that, if Luffy, because Oda said before, he talked about how he definitely wanted to tap into those old school art styles. Like that's why he has the Tom and Jerry sort of like feel to Luffy when he goes around. Like he had a fun time doing that, and it was kind of hard and challenging doing that. So I think that there's gonna be things we're gonna see a lot more of that, where it's gonna be zany, wonky, toony, and like the apex of that should be he's gonna have Luffy interact with the actual manga itself, unironically, and he's gonna start grabbing text boxes. He's gonna start grabbing thought bubbles, and then Imu is gonna be the opposite of that. He's gonna be like erasing. Like what the dude? No, stop that book. He's gonna be erasing. That's why he's so powerful in terms of like his.
He doesn't need to go crazy like that, because his powers is just transmutation. It's not to like
so far. The only again. Okay, so you have to remember, right? Luffy, he doesn't know what it really means to be the Hito Hito no Mi, because as far as he understands, he has a rubber ability. But again, it's all about what you know, what you envision, what your powers to be. If he understands his powers powers are more than just rubber, and that's why he could, like, let's say, because we're not too sure if he's actually transmuting his hair into goggles. We see a cloud form, like, just kind of out of nowhere, and then it poofs into goggles. He could have made that cloud out of thin air that became goggles, not grab his hair and then his hair turned into goggles. We're not too sure on that one.
A very small item that he's created. He hasn't gone like
fair, but it's still impressive.
But again, this is just the tip of the iceberg. That's the point. It's like where Luffy has a fire-based ability that we're not too sure what that power is just yet. But there's something that's mentioned. There's something mentioned that Lilith mentions about how, like, if she had the power of, like, this ancient kingdom, they can actually make their own sun, their full-on, like, own star. And so I'm wondering if Luffy's power is kind of like a play on creation, where, like, he has the flames of creation because he can just kind of make and do anything that he so really chooses to, because that is the will of the sun god. So things that were made in the past could have been made by the sun god, and the Imu could be the antithesis of that shit, where it's more, because again, their powers are extra dimensional according to Vegapunk, where, like, they come from, like, another place of, maybe a higher place of existence entirely, but they come from their plane of existence. So it's like, this could literally, so in the final fight, these things, whether it's gonna be against Blackbeard, against Imu, or it's gonna be Shanks, I don't think so though. These things I think are gonna be addressed in full spade by Oda, because Oda, I think, wants to have, he's seen so many different manga end, and Oda wants to have, he's very clear, he wants to have a lot of fun.
See you. Bye bye.